I was always envious of the girls who got to fight at the New York Golden Gloves, like Christina Cruz. So it's an honor to be here. I know I have to put on a good show because these fans know what they're looking for. So it's gonna be good.
How about sitting up here with some familiar faces, all these Olympians up here, and you get to represent for women's boxing in the Olympics, which hasn't been around for too long. How good does that make you feel to represent for women's boxing up here among these fellow Olympians?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. There's great Olympians on this card, but I mean, it's the first time in history that a woman can sit alongside these other Olympians as well and perform on such a huge card. So I'm really grateful for Top Rank for giving me the respect and the honor of being on such a card, and it just shows how much they support women's boxing.
All right, thank you, Michaela. Doors open at 7:30, so make sure you get there early if you do have tickets to check out Michaela. If not, again, you can watch her fight right before we head on to the TV broadcast on ESPN3 and live on the ESPN app.
And by the end of the year, this year, she's going to be in the main event. You guys are going to see, right?
I'm looking forward to
it. We have plenty of dates, so you'll all have plenty of action. But she is going to be star in the main event before the end of 2018.
I like you both. Thank you.
You heard that right here. You pull that receipt later. We'll keep the video for you.
That's proof. That was recorded.
Exactly. All right, let's move on to your left in the bright red. Big smile, big dimple. Shakur Stevenson, not a far drive for your family and friends to come here on Saturday night, and not your first time here fighting at Madison Square Garden, but what does it mean to you, again, not only to be able to showcase your skills here, but open the show Saturday night on ESPN?
I look at Madison Square Garden as my second home, so I'm back at my second home and I'm ready to put on the show.
What can the fans expect watching on ESPN? This will be your debut. As Bob mentioned, millions and millions of homes have ESPN. What can they expect to see from this little more mature now, Shakur Stevenson?
I'm going to put on the show. I'm going to box, have fun, and if the knockout comes, it comes.
Lastly, you had a chance to come to California to spar with Vasily Lomachenko. What was that experience like for you?
It was amazing being in the ring with such a great fighter, and he showed me why he's so good and why he's elite. So it was great sparring, and I appreciate the fact that he allowed me to come out there and rip him.
You did all right, Vasily? Shakur did pretty good? Yes, okay, you got your approval. All right, Shakur, he will be opening our...
I got one more thing.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to keep saying this. I throw Terrence Crawford at basketball. Me and my team.
Every time he gets the mic in his hand, Terrence, like, you don't have a mic, he gets to say something. You don't get to... He says you're lying.
It was 5-on-5. Yeah, I took some money from him. No, you took money first came and I came back. No, I came back and took it back.
All right, we'll keep it. All right. Not only in our main event, we have two 130-pounders, but we also have another 130-pound fight on the card for the vacant, or for the NABO title. To my right is Christopher Pitufo Diaz. Welcome, Chris. I'm sure you'll be watching the main event closely, as they are now in your weight division, but that is a new weight division for you, moving up from 126. How comfortable do you feel now at 130, not only the new weight class, but with your new team?
Nah, I feel good. I learned something. It's not making weight, it's how you feel in the fight. And 130 is gonna help me a lot with the weight and not get dehydrated and nothing like that. But after in this fight, I'm gonna look amazing. I sure that.
You were gonna fight Casey Ramos. Things kind of changed at the last minute, but either way, you're preparing for a tough fight. You've been kind of saying all along, you think the way that you fight, if you've never seen him fight, he's an all-action, come-forward, knockout type fighter. So I know that you want to kind of put on a really good show for these fans, and you've got some great sparring with Chino and your new team to kind of help you prepare for your fight.
Yeah, I was sparring with Sosa, I was sparring with Steven Farmer, elite fighters, so that's gonna help me a lot. I learned something that I fight 10 rounds, I'm not fighting 4 rounds or 6 rounds or 8 rounds, I'm gonna fight 10. And I learned something about keep pushing the boxes and make great movement, not throw hard punches a lot, so I'm gonna be better Pitufo in that night.
Would you like to say something in Spanish to everyone that's watching?
Gracias a mi familia. Esta pelea se la dedico a mi familia, a Puerto Rico, a todos mis fanáticos. Esta es nuestra segunda casa. Gracias por siempre apoyarme a mí, apoyar a Puerto Rico. Creo que después de esta pelea vienen muchas cosas buenas para mí, para mi familia. Yo hoy soy el tipo de boxeador que no pelea tan solo por tener una mejor calidad de vida, sino por darle una mejor calidad de vida a su familia. Y creo que después del 9 de diciembre se escribe una historia nueva de una futura estrella de Puerto Rico. Thank you, everybody.
Christina,
Yes, Bob.
before he finishes, I know he's been training here in the States, but he has friends, relatives, family back in Puerto Rico. Let him tell the people what is happening now in Puerto Rico, how the situation is.
In my hometown, we lost like a 90% destroyed. We lost a lot of furniture. We lost TVs, bed sets, maybe everything in my house. But right now we're gonna move to Orlando and make a life there, and with my mom, brothers, and I got a lot of family there. So now Puerto Rico is not too good, but maybe in 2 years we're gonna be fine.
I know it's a horrible situation. Obviously, we here are not doing enough to help the Puerto Ricans. The one good thing is, as Christopher said, they're moving to Orlando. Florida's gone blue, baby.
So should we get to it? You haven't been, you want to keep on the politics and moving on over to Michael Conlon and the not so politically correct middle finger that she gave in the Olympics. But anywho, that's a pretty fly suit you got there, by the way, I have to say. You might win best dress for it today. You, Michaela.
You always have to be sharp dressed for these events.
Right? Speaking of being sharp, this place, Madison Square Garden, pretty sharp night in your pro debut when you were here. Conor McGregor walking you out. I mean, it was quite the spectacle. Obviously, you took care of business in the ring, but being back here, does it kind of bring back all those feels again?
100%. You know, the Garden is a special place to fight. I already believe it is my home. The amount of fans I'll bring Saturday evening is going to be phenomenal. The amount of fans I'll bring here every time I fight here is going to be phenomenal. So, you know, I look forward to coming back here again after this one, after I get the victory on Saturday evening. March 17th, we'll be back again.
Bob, you kind of made that a point when we signed Michael Conlon that Madison Square Garden, maybe around St. Patrick's Day, would kind of be his date moving forward. So this is a place, if he calls this his second home, that's very much a correct statement, right, Bob, in your plans for Michael Conlon to fight here at the Garden?
Yeah, not only is obviously St. Patrick's Day, Mick Conlon will be a featured fighter on the card, but it's going to be a really interesting card because there'll be a vacant 140-pound championship. My fighter, top-ranked fighter, Jose Ramirez, young kid from Fresno, fighting, listen to this, against Don King's fighter, Amir Aman. So it'll be Aram and King going at each other in the Mecca of boxing. Don't miss it.
That was a little bit of inside information for everybody here. So, Mick, Top Rank's kept you busy, 4 fights this year, 4 knockouts. You have to be happy with how things are going to wrap up 2017 now with 5 fights and excited about what 2018 has to bring for you.
Yeah, I feel I'm moving along nicely. You know, 4 wins, 4 knockouts. Come Saturday night, it'll be 5 wins, 5 knockouts, and you know, I'll finish off the year nicely, have a nice Christmas and get back to business in the new year.
All right, sounds good. Michael Conlon, he'll be in our co-main event Saturday night. It's going down 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. And now let's switch it over to our main event. You guys have been waiting patiently. Appreciate it. We're going to use a couple translators here. You guys are with me. Thank you so much. We'll go to Guillermo Rigondeaux first. He has a microphone too. Alex is going to translate. Thank you, Alex. Guillermo, I have to ask you, I think this is the #1 question that everybody's been wanting to know in the lead up to this fight. Can you please let us know who is running your Twitter account? We need to meet that man.
Sé que esta es la pregunta que todo el mundo quiere preguntarte, que ¿quién es el que está encargado de tu cuenta de Twitter? That's it, me right here. That's me right here.
Your English is great on Twitter.
Sé que le encanta el inglés tuyo. Says he's learning.
Very, very good, very good. All right, now that that's out of the way, it is him, everybody. It's the real Rigondeaux running his Twitter. Why move up 2 weight classes for this fight? Obviously, you've been well established at 122. Why the move to 130 to fight Vasily Lomachenko at this point in your career?
Está bien establecido en 122 y eres el rey de la 122. ¿Por qué subiste 2 categorías para pelear con Lomachenko?
Un saludo antes que todo. Saludo, campeón.
I'd like
campeón.
to, Terrence,
Lo
he's,
mejor que tú tienes. Lo sabes.
says that's the best boxer Bob has.
Mira. Nah,
Terrence, the best boxer. You'd like to thank everybody for coming.
nah, pues nada.
You
Ya.
fight him next?
Dice que si pelea con el
Gonna go up to
próximo.
47.
You, Terrence?
No, al paso que voy, habla con él.
He goes, yeah, absolutely. After this, I'm ready to go up.
Nada, quería decir no. Esta es una pelea real. Dos campeones olímpicos.
This is a real fight.
Olímpico y es una noche olímpica, una noche de estrella. Y es lo que vamos a demostrarle el sábado. Lo vamos a hacer bien al 100% y espero que a todo el mundo le guste.
I expect all the fans to appreciate this is a night of stars of two, Olympic champions, and the fans are in for a real treat, and we're gonna put on a great show for you guys.
Yeah, at the age of 37, what does it mean for you at this point in your career, with all you've accomplished to this point, to be a part of such a historic night of boxing?
A la edad tuya, en tu carrera, en este momento, ¿qué te parece estar en este gran evento?
Todo el mundo me pregunta mi edad.
Everyone asks my age. Everybody wants to know my age.
Mira a ver alrededor que chamaquito está mejor que yo.
It says, you go ahead and look and see who looks better than me. That's younger.
But what does it mean at this point in his career to take part in such a historic fight?
Este es parte de esta cartelera para ti que representa.
Nah, esto es una pelea muy importante
Very important
en mi
fight
carrera deportiva y
in my career.
espero que a todo el mundo le guste lo que vamos a hacer el sábado, que va a ser un buen show para todo el mundo.
It's going to be a great show, and I hope everybody appreciates the show we're going to put on Saturday.
This is the first time in the promotion you kind of sat this close or been next to Vasily Lomachenko.
Primera vez que en esta promoción que estás sentado tan cerca de tu oponente.
Now that you do have him face to face, is there anything that you'd like to say before Saturday night?
Ahora que están presentes uno al otro, si tienes algo que decir.
No, yo soy una persona que no soy de tanto hablar, yo no soy de tanto hablar, yo resuelvo las cosas arriba del ring y donde lo hago y donde lo demuestro. Yo no soy una persona que ando hablando tanto ni nada de eso.
I demonstrate things on the ring when it's time to fight. I don't like to talk a lot or disrespect my opponent in any way. He's a great boxer, and I like to express myself in the ring
And on Twitter.
and on Twitter.
All right, Guillermo, gracias. Now over to Vasily Lomachenko. Rocking the glasses today.
Thank you.
Yeah. Perhaps you're rocking the glasses today because, as we've talked about, this fight is very much a mental fight, maybe more so than it is physical, where you're going to use your mind even more than your body, which is, the case in many fights, but maybe more so in this fight because of the technical ability and the skills that you guys bring into this ring. How much more do you feel like this is a mental battle than even a physical battle on Saturday night? Battle of the brains, if you will.
Да, конечно, это будет бой интеллектов, и поэтому это вдвойне интересно, особенно для людей, которые понимают бокс. Это бой будет для ценителей бокса.
Yes, of course, it's going to be a very intelligent fight. Two guys meeting who's very knows about boxing, so an intelligent fight, brain fight.
Something that's been a theme throughout your career has been making history. It was important for you to fight for a title in so many fights, win 2 world titles in 2 different divisions and in only so many fights. And now here another opportunity for you to make history. Already just stepping into the ring, being the first time two-time gold medalists have fought. What does this fight mean to you in your young career so far?
This fight very important for me because a lot of people, a lot of fans, a lot of media want this fight. If it's a very special fight for them, it's special for me. It will be interesting.
Do you feel like, and maybe you can't answer this till afterwards, but in terms of the fighters that you fought so far, do you feel like even though he's coming up in weight, he's going to be the toughest fight that you've had so far?
У тебя было много уже соперников. Ты даже если он поднимается в весе, ты думаешь, что он самый хороший соперник для тебя?
I don't know. I need to check and I need to try. And after the fight, I can answer this question.
All right, I'll ask you again. Bob, for you, just comments on this matchup between these two very, very special fighters.
I think both fighters have made me a great honor to allow me, together with Dino, to promote this fight, because this is so historic that years from now, when they write about boxing and they write about the great matches in history, I'm telling you, this fight between Lomachenko and Rigondeaux will be one of the fights that they will be talking about. Saturday, here in Madison Square Garden, history will be written.